Hey, this is Anthony from Fit Fellas. Just wanted to shine some light on this nutrition diary rubbish that we seem to get all caught up in, and we make it really complicated and hard to follow. And I want to try and simplify it so more people can get on top of their eating habits and start making sensible changes to what they're fueling their body with so that we can make better decisions and lead ultimately better lives. So everything that gets measured gets managed, according to my mate Andrew Carnegie. So what I want to do first off is make sure that we're documenting everything that we consume in a 1 week period. Now, if 1 week's too long for you, just start with the first 3 days. Do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you know yourself well enough to know that you let go on the weekends and maybe consume a little bit more than you should of the wrong sort of stuff. Whatever works for you, that's great. Now, here's something we know about nutrition diaries. Everybody lies. Everybody lies about what they put in their mouth. Last night, I made a silly comment after dinner and said to Andrea, my girlfriend, I said, I feel like something's sweet. She said, well, I've just bought mint slices. And I went, oh, that's terrible. Firstly, I don't do dairy very well, so, the chocolate's not that great for me, but I love mint slices. She said, how many would you like? And I said, that's a ridiculous question. Obviously only one. I ate 3. Now, how many am I going to document in my nutrition diary? If I'm going to do the best thing for me, I'm going to record all 3 mint slices and be honest about it and not bullshit myself. My old karate instructor back in the olden days said, when you cheat, you only cheat yourself. So if you're going to be honest about this, be honest. If you want to bullshit yourself, this is not the only area of your life you're going to bullshit yourself. You're going to tell yourself all sorts of stories about, oh, I can't get healthy, I can't get fit, I've tried everything. All those out and out lies that we tell ourselves. So do yourself a favor, start off with the truth. Breakfast, whatever you're snacking on, whatever you're having for lunch, whatever you're snacking on, whatever you have for dinner, whatever you're snacking on, and drinks. I don't think we give anywhere near enough credit to the sort of rubbish that we consume through fluid. That includes your latte and whatever soft drinks you might be having, whatever alcohol you're consuming. Record everything. If you need more space, write more notes. But ideally, what we're trying to do here is get a snapshot of what your consumption looks like. There's not any judgment around this. It's just the truth. It's where you're at. So fill it in for 1, 3, 5, 7 days, whatever works for you. That's where we get started. Once we've got the truth out in the open, we can move to the next stage, which is about what are we going to do about the truth. That's where our Fit Fellas nutrition solutions come in here. So what I've written here is a couple of notes, some around food, some around fluids, and some around what you do at mealtime. What I suggest people do is have a look at your 7 days of eating or whatever time span you look at and choose 1 or 2 of these suggestions to focus on for the next week. Do not try and put everything into your diary the next week because we know it won't work. If you try and change everything all at once, you run out of steam very, very quickly. So rather than do that, rather than pretend you're going to change in an instant, let's slowly tweak your food intake, your fluid intake, and what you do at mealtime so that it becomes something you can integrate into a habit. Our life is dictated by the habits that we have and the rituals that we follow and the reasons why we do things. So when you record everything out in the open and you go back and think, all right, what 1 or 2 things am I going to change this week? It becomes implementable. So around your food, I'm going to suggest that one of the things you should do is have fresh fruit and veggies available at home and work for snacks. So when you get hungry and you're about to make a piss poor decision about what you put in your mouth, have some healthy options there for you. Drink water every time you feel hungry and eat 15 minutes later if you're still hungry. So if you're hungry, sometimes what that is, it's the body calling out saying, I'm thirsty, idiot, but you're not giving me any water, so I'm going to tell you I'm hungry, hoping that there's going to be some fluid in the food that I wind up eating. So let's give the body some fluid first, and if you're still hungry, obviously eat. I'm not suggesting for a moment you starve yourself, but let's get some fluid into you first. Plan what you're going to eat every day the night before, and for some people it might be 2 days before or 3 days before, or a whole week before, but plan your food. Again, we make the worst decisions for what we consume in the moment. Try and eat at least 5 different types of fresh veggies every day. Now, I've increased this. I try and look for 7 vegetables in each meal if I can. And my dear friend Dr. John Tickell suggests try and find 15 different types of plant matter to consume every single day. I wrote this a few years ago for another organisation that I was running at the time. And it's still very valid. It still has things in it that I believe are great quality, but I would increase that 5 different fresh veggies every day to as many as you can. And I'm going to shoot some videos of me cooking and show how easy it is to add at least 7 vegetables into your food. Eat before you go shopping or before you order food online. Again, we make piss poor decisions when we're hungry. If you add sugar, any sugar that you add, halve the amount that you add. Eat nothing within 2 hours of going to bed. That just makes perfect sense. You don't need to eat 2 hours before you go to bed. I love the organic options that we have available. Eat organic whenever you have an option to do so. Eat twice as many vegetables grown above the ground as below the ground. Great little tip. If you have access to all the stuff that grows above the ground rather than your potatoes, your heavy carbohydrates, then eat twice as many of the stuff above the ground than below. Make a new type of salad. I'm not vegetarian, but go and do some, get some vegetarian meals, recipes, and start integrating really cool vegetarian food into your diet. It doesn't mean you've got to give up meat, but you will find that your excitement around vegetables will increase enormously if you just make some really cool vegetarian type meals and then add it to your meat if you choose to. Avoid processed food, anything that comes out of a box. Just think twice about it. I was going to write a diary because I reckon food is something that we just bullshit people about constantly. The secret, the purpose of my book was eat anything that doesn't have a corner. And the whole idea was if it comes in a package, just think twice about it before you eat it. So breakfast cereal comes in a package. Bread has corners. Fruit doesn't have corners. Vegetables don't have corners. Pizza doesn't have corners, unfortunately. So my diet process fell apart a little bit. But you get the idea of eat the stuff that's been on the planet. My rejigged idea is eat anything that comes from the Garden of Eden. So regardless of your religious thoughts, if you think about the Garden of Eden, it's all fresh, it's all organic, it's eaten live, it's often eaten raw. There's not processed sugar. There's not a whole bunch of crap in there. There's a little bit of hops to make beer and there's some grapes to make wine. So have a little bit of that. But there's not a lot of the sugary crap that we tend to eat. From a drinking, sip 2 litres of water throughout the day. Just keep sipping water. And sometimes it's going to be more. Sometimes it probably shouldn't be less. 2 litres minimum. Introduce alcohol-free weekdays. If you do drink alcohol, put some structure in place around how often you drink alcohol and then how much you drink alcohol. And just say, you know what, Monday to Thursday night or Friday lunchtime, I don't drink alcohol. And then I have 36 hours from Thursday after work until Saturday night where I drink alcohol. And then Sunday I'm clean again, ready for a fantastic week. Drink water instead of soft drinks, cordials, and juice. If you do drink alcohol, drink a glass of water in between your alcoholic beverages. Don't drink caffeine after lunchtime. It just messes with your sleep cycle. And eat fruit rather than drink fruit juice. I personally don't drink fruit juice, but I tend to eat a little bit of fruit. So I'm getting whatever the goodness is from the fruit with the fiber and all that. At mealtime, this is a critical one, guys. It's so simple. Chew your food until it melts in your mouth. So on average, we chew about 3 times before we swallow. I'm saying chew until your food is like liquid. Sit down while you're eating. Don't rush. Don't be stressed. Don't put the television on. Don't watch the news. Don't have stressful conversations. Your sympathetic nervous system will kick in when you're stressed out. I want your parasympathetic nervous system to be most dominant whilst you're eating. That will give you the best chance of digesting and absorbing foods into your body. 6 meals a day, the same amount of food that you'd eat on a normal day, but just spread it out. All I'm suggesting here is rather than having a large meal all at once is make your meals a little bit smaller and have more of them. It'll give you a better drip feed of energy into your body throughout the day. And it will also reduce your need to have a very full stomach in order to feel like you're eating enough. Put your knife and fork down between mouthfuls. We just need to slow down when we're eating sometimes. Only put a 20-cent coin sized amount of food on your fork. So rather than have large mouthfuls, to eat a smaller mouthful, chew it up completely, swallow it, knife and fork down, pick it up and go for the next one. Maybe even have a bit of pleasant conversation around meal times. Protein with every meal, which just tends to slow down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates. Reduce the amount of pasta, increase the amount of sauce. Pasta, rice, potatoes, empty calories. So there's not a massive amount of nutritional content in there. So we've really got to question how much pasta you want to have. Now, in saying that, I've got 3 kids, and when they're going through massive growth spurts, we just put lots more pasta into them because they needed the fodder, they needed the calories, they needed the energy, that sort of thing. My 16-year-old still loves pasta. My 21-year-old, not so much. He doesn't need all of that energy anymore, so he's able to reduce the amount of pasta and put other stuff in. So when I say increase the amount of sauce, what I'm talking about, put loads of veggies into your sauces and eat more of the vegetables. The pasta really is there just to pad out the food. So I hope this has been a simple way that you can see some ways of integrating this into your food intake, of monitoring what it is that you put in your mouth on a daily, weekly basis, and put you in a position where you're aware and hence in a position where you control what goes in your mouth. If you've got any feedback, by all means, shoot me a message or let me know. If you want to get a copy of this, I can email it to you, let me know. I can send it through Facebook or something like that. And I hope you're ready to make some really good, healthy changes to what it is you're eating. Cheers.